Hey guys, what's up? It's Quicksilver here, and man, I'm feeling a little bit better today than I was on the end of the last video. For those of you that don't know, I'm not even sure if it shows up in these videos. Actually, I don't think it does. I am actually playing in the snapshot right now. This is, I guess, 13W39A, because I had a problem at the end of the last video. I don't know if you remember, but my ice was not freezing like it was doing in 1.6.3, and I was concerned that we might have to ditch our whole ice farm concept and not have it actually be over here close to the base, actually right down here like I was hoping, but that I was going to have to move it off into the taiga forest. And I am happy to report that as soon as I loaded the snapshot into this copy of my world, bam, we started to freeze ice pretty much immediately. I think that happened within a minute of me loading this up. So I think we're going to be okay to make our ice farm over here after all. So I am feeling pretty good about that. I guess thing number two to let you guys know as I get away from the loud mob farm, I have a new monitor, so I am recording in new settings. You might have noticed at the very end I had a kind of a weird cut at the end of my last video, and things kind of went a little wider and skinnier. I have actually moved up to the LCD age finally. Yes, we're getting more ice over here, dude. This is excellent. So yeah, I've got a much better monitor. Hopefully that's going to mean that I have higher quality videos for you guys to watch as well, and everything is hunky-dory. So alright, enough of that. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go down here to the temple, and we'll kind of get started on that. I think what I'm going to do is I will take a little time and build out the temple itself down here off camera so that we can actually get into it and just start building our ice farm instead. I'm probably going to switch back to 1.6.4, which I think is, at least at the time of this recording, is the most current one that's out. So we will not see any more ice forming up here, but I am pleased to announce that at least in the test of this latest snapshot, it looks like we are going to still have ice above level 90, so it should make it pretty easy for us to make a reliable ice farm. So I will catch you guys in just a minute back down in the temple. Alright guys, so I've done a little bit of work here around the temple. I guess since I'm going to call this an ice temple, I decided that, and since it was kind of turning into a bust, just kind of carving this thing out of the stone, I thought I should go ahead and make it an ice temple. So I think what I'm going to do is once this thing gets kicking off, I'm going to slowly try and replace most, if not all, of these blocks with ice. So we'll have kind of an entranceway that looks like this. I'm really kind of liking the direction it's heading. Let me do this really fast because I don't even want to listen to that. So spiders like to track me through the walls far too much. I've dug out the interior of this thing as well, so we've kind of got our workspace kind of carved out for us. But before we go in there, I did want to note, obviously I've thrown down some of the snow blocks here as well. Incidentally, you can make those by making the giant, or I guess those aren't snow blocks, those are like the snow tops. You can make those if you don't already know. If you take, I think it's 9 snowballs, I think it is, it's either 9 or 4, no, it's 4. 4 snowballs in a square will make a snow block, and then if you put 3 snow blocks along the bottom, like you're making a half slab, you get these little tiny little flat guys. So these are just the same stuff that shows up like if you find snow in the wild, just kind of sitting on top of a grass block. Same stuff. So I'm just using them to decorate. It does not look like they're going to melt, so if they do, oh well, so much for decorating with them, but hopefully they won't, and so far so good. So let me get in here and kind of show you what I'm doing. This is going to be where we're going to have our ice. So this is where it's all going to form. So really it's going to come in here, it's going to be kind of shallow. I've set it up so that we can kind of carve something this way and down, probably. I don't know how far I can go over there before I hit the mob spawner pads, but then over here we'll be able to do something too. Right now it's a little bit of a mess, and I'll show you why in just a minute. But yeah, so this is going to be, when we walk in, it's pretty much, if this thing was fully maxed out, oh, that was a weird glitch, we would be looking at a wall of ice right here that would be as thick as all these half slabs back here. Now because there's going to be some downtime when it's not going to be a wall of ice, I've gone ahead and I've half slabbed out this area so we don't have to worry about the light levels, and then I've covered this entire wall with obsidian. Reason being for that is I am going to go ahead and I'm going to build the piston wall that is going to push everything out here, and then our ice sheet is actually going to come down from right here. So what will happen is we want the ice to come down, it'll feed right down here, so really our wall will be back here of ice, and then the piston pushers are going to shove it this way to give us a big cube of ice, which will come in from the side. Don't worry, it'll all make sense once we actually got this thing going. But the first thing we need to do is I've got to build a bud switch, and a bud is called a is short for block update detector, if you don't already know that. And I found one online. It's actually really cool. I actually initially thought it was somebody else's design, but turns out it was just SethBling's, so I don't know why that should surprise anyone, because the guy does pretty much everything Minecraft. So anyway, I'm going to show you how we build it, and what I've done is I've just got this little area right here, and I've already got it wired up with redstone so we can send our signal around back behind here, and we'll pick it up right here, and that's what we're going to use to make our piston wall fire. But what's going to happen is our bud switch is going to be right here, and that's actually going to be our sticky piston. So I'm going to place that sucker right there. Then we're going to put a block of redstone dust here in that little hole. I'm going to put a redstone torch right there. I'm going to put a piston, just a normal piston, on, I'm pretty sure it's on that. Wow, shoot, why did I just do that? Oh well, I can always replace that, right? No big shake. And then we're going to put a redstone block right here, and that's going to fire it back so that it resets itself. And then I'll put my little half slab back in here so everything looks hunky-dory. And that's it, man. That is the simplest block update detector I've ever seen. And this is our block update detector right here. So anytime a block happens to appear or disappear here, 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 or here, and I guess maybe underneath it too, but I haven't really messed around with that yet, and it doesn't matter because the only one we care about is right here, because what's going to happen is that's going to be our ice sheet coming down from up above, and I realize that this thing is going to fire off and there's going to be some holes in the middle of all this stuff, but I'm not too concerned with it. I think by and large it's probably going to be a pretty solid mass here, and ultimately this is going to be 200 ice blocks that we can farm out of there, so it's going to be pretty sweet once it's all said and done. I will actually hang on to that, but I'll show you how this thing is going to work. If we have anything hitting here, what will happen is this redstone block will get pushed over here, and then it'll immediately get pushed back by that guy. But it's long enough that this redstone will pick up the signal and send something back here. So if I go ahead just temporarily, yeah, good, I made a whole mess of pistons because I know I'm going to need a buttload of them for right here, 40 of them actually to be exact. If I stick that piston right there, when I put a block on here, it'll send this thing through and we'll get a redstone pulse and we'll see that piston just pop up real quick, at least if I can do this well. Now, I don't know if you guys saw that. It was super fast, but it did indeed work, and then when I break this block, we'll see the same thing happen. Gosh, I don't even know if you guys can catch that. For me, it's kind of out of the corner of my eye. It's really, really fast. I'll probably put some sort of a signal extender on there. I might have to put a signal extender on there because I want to make sure that my piston wall is actually going to work and fire out and make everything do what it's supposed to do. But yeah, that in a nutshell is it. Like I said, simplest little bud switch ever. But it's going to be an effective little bud switch, so that is where that stands. I mined a boatload of obsidian. I actually finally mined out. I had like a little obsidian source over here, which also is lava. I still have one block of lava over there, or source of lava that I can take, but I actually mined the obsidian from down in my mines. So I found a huge obsidian lake down there and was able to use it. So I guess at this point I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start building the piston pusher wall. And just so you guys know, this is going to be a pretty, I think anyway, that this is going to be a pretty aggressive project that we're building here. So I'm probably not going to be able to do all of this in one video. So, but I think because of, I think because of how I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to build it in kind of in segments, because otherwise it's going to be real easy to get confused here. And yeah, as you can see, I've built some workspace back here. I'm actually a block wider than I need to be, and a block deeper, maybe 2 blocks deeper, I'm not really positive, but that should give us plenty of room to get around behind this thing to make it work, because that'll be the next trick that I'm going to have to come up with. And then I'll connect it all to the bud switch. But let's go ahead and see if we can't get these facing the good deal, the right direction. You're going to bite me in the ass, I knew it. So, alright. So I'll just keep placing these guys and get them all put into place here, and then once I've got them all, we'll go ahead and we'll get this sucker wired up. And I'll do that from behind. And like I said, I know I mentioned it to you guys how to do it in the, I think it was the it was in the last video that I talked about how to make this piston wall thing work. but I will go ahead and show you firsthand in this video, because I do want to show you how it all wires up and all that good stuff. It's not really that complicated, but it kind of looks complicated. So we'll really just be repeating the same pattern over and over. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll go AFK and get the rest of this wall built, and then I'll come back in just in time so that we can wire it up. Alright guys, so I'm back in here now, and I've got the wall O pistons dropped in place. I'll show you what it looks like actually from this side. Ta-da! Nothing too special to see there. But I actually, to get those things to all extend, I was going to do this with you guys and record, but I couldn't remember the block configuration, so I actually built one iteration of it over here. So what I'll do now with you guys is I'll go ahead and I'll build the rest of them out. Let me make sure I've got enough light in here. I guess that'll work. That'll have to do. We'll build the rest of it right now, actually. So I guess our first thing is every other block. I've got a redstone repeater down in that little hole you can barely see there. But so every other block we want to have a redstone repeater. Doing that. Then next to that, we're going to throw down a full block there. Then we want to follow above that full block here, 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 and here, and here, and here. Then, okay, this is where I start to get confused there behind those. I think that'll do that. Then we want to have one in between here, in between here, in between here. And then up at the very top of this thing, let's see, that's going to be a pain in the ass to reach. Well, this is where we're just going to dirt pillar up a little bit. So I'll go ahead and throw that guy in, and if I can reach it, come on baby, that guy, good deal. Now those are just to cut this redstone signal so that it doesn't feed over with the one that's below it, but you'll see that in just a couple of minutes. Now the reason I'm building the structure out here first is because if you saw my last video, it makes a little more sense, but if you notice, this is actually, these half slabs are actually underneath that, so we're going to actually have a half slab that's actually above that. Actually, it's floating right here above the air, so in order to make that easier to I guess in order to make it so that we can actually place that, is what I guess I'm trying to say. If we go ahead and place our redstone, it makes it really tough to get those things. Well, it makes it almost next to impossible to place them, I guess, because they're going to be covering over top of redstone, and it becomes just to place it like right there would be impossible. So it just becomes a lot more easy to go ahead and just do it this way. So take my word for it, just from the little bit of time I've spent building it. Yeah, I think this is where those need to be, right? Yep, that looks about right. So then our next one, I'm just going to go ahead and throw these guys all across here and then chop out the ones that we don't need. I think that's probably going to be easiest. And it's not too hard to figure out because it's basically every other block, because we're in essence just kind of working the redstone up. So we're kind of spiraling it, I guess, is the best way to think of it. And I'll go ahead and do the same thing here because that seemed to work pretty damn well. Alright, so we got that guy. So that's out, right? Yeah, I think that's right. And that's out. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's got it all placed. So now I just got to stick redstone on top of every one of these blocks. So let's go ahead and do that. Dunk, 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 dunk. This is going to be the sucky part because I guarantee you guys I will probably miss at least one of these things. But I guess we'll get to see. Alright, yep. Alright, I think I've got it in all these little nooks and crannies. Sound like a muffin commercial. Okay. And I think, nope, I can't do it like that, so gotta make sure we get it up there. Is it up here? It's not up here yet. Okay. Well, screw it. So in here, and in there. Dunk, dunk. Yeah. Alright, so that's not, I don't think this is as bad as I thought it was. You gotta get that, that, and then I think all this needs to connect down low. And I think that guy does too. So alright, well, let's check this out. Now if I've wired all that up correctly, like I said, it's ugly. If you want to know how to build this more simplified, I actually go over how to build just one of these little towers, and you can add them out. You can just dupe them out infinitely. If you want to know how to do that, my last video actually has a little bit better, I wouldn't say it's a tutorial, but it actually has a little better description than what I just did here, trying to show you guys how to wire it up. But yep, good, that's what we wanted to see. Everything went pushing out. And I think we actually pulsed this bud switch too, so not that that matters a ton. But alright, so now what I need to do, and I think what I want to do, I think I'm not gonna bring the signal from over here. I gotta make sure that signal's gonna travel all the way up there, so I think I'm gonna try and bring it in. I guess I'll bring it in here. So let's do this. Let's just get rid of this guy right now. And hopefully, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw a repeater down right here just to make sure that this signal is as strong as we can get it. That way all I got to do is get it to here and it should do all the rest of it for us. So let's work at doing that. Alright, I don't want to bring that over here because that would be bad, because it's going to bump in and cross wire. So, alright. Well, let's just see what happens, right? Alrighty. Sorry guys, I'm trying to kind of get my bearings here while I'm digging this thing around. Alrighty. That should be one block lower. Yeah, alright, good deal. So that's our signal. I'm going to just go ahead, I'm going to see if that will do it. I'll be kind of shocked if it actually does, but you never know. So there's our wall of pistons. Yeah, and it does. It shoves it all out. Or it appears to shove it all out. I'm going to go ahead and make a solid wall of dirt up there and give that a really good test. Good, I do have enough. I should only need 40, I think, to do this. So I'm just going to pretend that we've just generated a whole bunch of dirt instead of a whole bunch of ice. And if I've done this right, then when I place our last block on top of the bud switch, right here, that whole wall should get shoved out. Excellent. Alright. That makes me really happy, guys. So alright, so I guess that's the first, really that's the first phase of the ice farm, I guess, done. So we gotta like that. I'll go ahead and pick up all this dirt, and I think the next thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to, I guess, start digging out above here to make room for the actual ice part of this thing. Also, I think I'm going to throw some half slabs on top of this because I don't want to be able to see that. I was trying to come up with maybe a little stronger way of dealing with it, but I'm not sure I can think of anything better. So as long as this doesn't mess with the bud switch, which it shouldn't. Nope, good. And we should be in good shape. So alright, so we have way more room than we need to here, which I don't mind. I'd rather have more room than not enough. Yeah, and I'll just half slab up the whole backside in there, I guess. Yeah, alright, so here we go. So I've got a lot more extra room in here. Who knows, maybe I'll throw a jacuzzi back here or something, right? I keyed. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and head up here and I guess dig out some room to start building the other components of the ice farm, so we can kind of get that cooking. And actually, I'll show you one other thing I think that I did that I don't think I've shown you guys yet. Where did you come from? Yeah, I'm kind of hanging out and... Where are you, buddy? Oh, you tried to come shoot me in the head. You missed me, bitch. Yeah, anyway, I'm kind of playing over in territories that are not really lit the best that they could be. So, oh well, no big deal. I'm not too worried about it. This is actually, I think, where I've decided this is the trough. Like, if I were to dig straight down here, I would fall into the room where the ice sheet will come down. So I think what I'm going to want to do is I'll probably, depending on how much room I need, I got to go look at my contraption world and kind of measure it out. I think my ice tray area will be right about here, and then the sheet will get pushed over and then pushed down by pistons. And I'm not going to have all that built up high. I'm actually going to build that underground, and I'm just going to have this little trough visible wherever the water source is that's going to freeze. So that is the general plan. Obviously don't have any I'm going to get rid of this right now. Don't have any ice forming up here yet because we are in 1.6.4, so it's kind of weird. I guess I'm really building a project here that is not going to work until the 1.7 update, which, you know, I kind of like that, because it seems like every time Minecraft does an update, it's like part of the process is, okay, let's go see what out of all my redstone contraptions got screwed up. So instead I get to look forward to it and go, hey, cool, let's go check out the redstone contraption that should now work. So I'm kind of excited about that aspect, at least. So alright, I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to dig this area out a little bit so we have some room to work, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I have dug out the area here, and we are actually probably past time. It's always amazes me how quickly the stuff goes by, but yeah, I will keep this short and sweet and we'll call this an episode, but I have absolutely dug out our workspace here and then recapped the top. So basically just got a big old chamber in here. I've dug this area out, which takes us, that's actually down to where our I kept wanting to call it a smart piston, our bud switch is. It's going to make the wall go out. So our ice is going to go down right here, and then this is the area that's going to be exposed to the sky. So we'll probably have, I think it's the pistons will be right here on this first row of dirt pointing down, and then we'll have some other ones that are pointing this way back underneath this stone slabs up here. So anyway, it should be interesting to build this because I've got a lot more room than I need to actually build it, or at least in parts I do. Some areas might be a little tight, but like back here I think I'll have a lot of room. So I've tried to kind of start stockpiling some of the stuff that I'm going to need so that the next episode or two should hopefully go a little quicker for us. But then I thought I would also show you down here. I just kind of finish this area off a little bit more as well. There we go. So yeah, right down in here, I've gone ahead, I've put some half slabs in here over the stuff for the bud switch and tried to make it look as naturally occurring as possible. So yeah, I think this room, once it's all said and done, is going to be pretty cool. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all the smooth stone in here. I might leave some of it, but I think it's probably going to start to get replaced with other materials. But I'll probably wait until after I've got it all built up. So then I just want to show you back here how I've cleaned this up. Again, just, you know, the same half slabs that I've got there. I brought them in here so I can have the door. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, this little hidey hole down here is where our redstone signal comes in from the man, I keep wanting to call it a smart piston again. It's where the signal comes in from our bud switch. Let's call it the right thing. And just to go ahead and give proof, we still work. So that should work out beautifully. So I think for now I'm going to go ahead and call this an episode. If you liked what you saw, please leave me a like, and if you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe, and I'll keep punching these things out. In the meantime, I will see you guys next time.